Sim, can you hear me? Sim, can you hear me? I'm gonna echo. What the hell? Sim, can you hear me? I'm gonna echo. What the hell? I'm gonna echo. What the hell? I'm gonna echo. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Oh my gosh, what is happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I can't hear Sim, yo. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell is happening here?
I can hear you.
The voice. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you before. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you before. All right. Can you hear me? I can hear you now.
Okay. So I can hear an echo coming back to me. Are you using like
Back to me.
you're not using headphones, are you? Well, I can see you not using headphones.
It should. This is crazy. Hold on. This is crazy. Give me. All right, let me see. Still hear echo?
Yeah, I can hear everything back there.
I still echo. Hear echo now?
Yep. I can still hear it coming back. I don't know.
I can still hear it coming back.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me try it. This voice meter thing is annoying. Hold on. Let me try headphones.
Yeah,
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
What's popping, everybody? This is live stuff. This is what happens with live stuff. It happens like this sometimes. Mm-hmm.
I hate all this stuff. Can you hear me?
Yep.
No echo, right?
No echo. Yeah, that's much better.
No echo. Yeah, that's much better.
Oh, actually, I still do hear an echo.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, what the fuck? Still hear echo.
You can't. I can hear you, but I can't. I can hear you, and I don't hear an echo right now.
Really? I'm hearing. Damn, I'm going crazy. I'm hearing the echo. This is some BS, man. Hold up. I'm about to just. What should I do? Just end this voice meter?
Yeah, you know what? If right now, if you just turn the voice meter off, then you have to switch the audio, like the audio in stuff.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Still
Why?
echo.
Why that freaking echo, man. This thing is working.
It's crazy.
All right, I got this. I got the camera hooked up. What am I screwing up with?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Ah,
What the hell? No.
I don't know what's going
Oh,
on.
you know what? That's what it was. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Got you. It is a stupid freaking. I got it. My bad.
Okay.
Yo, hey, we in here, man. Oh my gosh.
All right. We in here. We in the building. I'm in here. My tooth is killing me. I was at the dentist for like 2.5 hours today. My tooth is killing me and my head is hurting.
Oh, all right. So that means Sim wants to get out of here. So
Because the stuff is starting to they numbed up this side of my face and it's starting to wear off. I just took. I don't like to take medicine, but I took medicine because I don't like tooth pain. That's really the only thing I take medicine for is tooth pain.
And salute to everybody in here, man. TL, Imbert the Great, Sammy Sosa. Joshua Small really wants it because on your show yesterday, this dude was bugging. And I mean, you guys are trying to school him, but this dude was bugging. But yeah, I had my wisdom teeth taken out on my left side, last year? And they obviously give you like, was it the Tylenol with the hydrocodone, whatever it is? And I don't like
nothing.
I did like they gave it to me once, and I'm literally looking at the bottle like I'm not taking this crap. And so right after that initial wear off, I'm just trying to put ice on everything, just like, yo, this is like the worst feeling, man.
Right.
But even though root canals, they put the Novocaine, local anesthesia, not too bad, but yeah. So let's get to it, man. So first and foremost, your boy Giannis got the largest contract in all of NBA history. $225 for 5 years, a super duper max, man. What are your thoughts on Giannis? I mean, he has Drew Holiday now. Obviously, still has Kevin Middleton. Not Kevin Middleton. Sorry, Kevin Middleton's one of the subs. Chris Middleton. They got rid of Bledsoe. Still got Brook Lopez, but is that team challenging? Finally, going to challenge for the East?
I mean, they should at the very least be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think. Are they going to make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals? It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know if they've. I guess we'll see throughout the season what they look like. As far as Milwaukee giving Giannis that contract, I don't know what other choice did they have. Right. I mean, they could have said, no, we're not going to give you the contract and then break everything down and everyone would look at them like they're crazy.
Right.
Right. I don't know what other choice they had but to give them that contract. That becomes for some teams, it becomes an issue unless you're just shrewd, very shrewd, can become an issue where you have a guy and, he's an MVP. Maybe you're not sure if you can win the championship with him, but you almost don't have a choice, but to, extend them long term, because if not, you're going to break everything down and start over, and you may never get a guy like that again. Right. So it's kind of like, this is what we have to do at this point. So, I mean, they have him now. Do they have another guy that they can put with him? Can they find another guy somewhere that they can put with him? I don't know. Where do you find that guy? I don't know where you find him right now.
It's going to have to come from within, right? I mean, Chris Middleton has to take that step up to being a legit, 1B type of scorer, right? Be able to play off Giannis. Now, Giannis also has to be able to shoot that three, right? He has to be able to space the floor out because was it 2 playoffs in a row where you basically just sag off of him? No, not sag off. Excuse me. You play him aggressively, stop him from driving up top. He's been nullified, right? Especially last season, right? So, and again, you have some beasts that are. I don't want to say beasts. I don't want to say beasts, but you have the East. I mean, the Celtics got stronger, I believe. The Heat are coming out of the same team, even though Butler is going to be a year older. But with Butler still at the helm, given the fact that he's not the most explosive, it's just not his game. You still think he's going to have the same impact on a lot of those rookies, or the young guys. Let me say on the team. You still have Toronto who came back, re-signed Fred VanVleet. You're hoping for another year of Pascal Siakam developing. You still have Boucher, who's looking, who's expected to take a leap, and you also have OG Anunoby. So I don't know. I mean, obviously you're right. They had to resign Giannis. They had no choice. That's basically, when you have a superstar level talent going to a small market team that no one really wants to go to, you got to sign him, right?
All right.
But who are they going to get? Your boy Chris Middleton is a free agent 2024. He's making a crap load of money this season. He's making 33 next year, 35 next year. After that, 37. The next year, 40. And then Lopez is getting a little bit older. You have Drew Holiday, who I think is a really good point guard, underrated, but he's not, necessarily young. So again, it's going to come through smart drafting. They still have Dante DiVincenzo.
Yes, they still got him. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if he's becoming a star, but he's really, really good. I like that kid coming out of the draft too.
Yeah, he's real good. White Chocolate Villanova. Yeah, and every time especially when they play the Knicks, I always, even before the trade, they're always like a team that kind of played tall for some. Like I always just see them like they always had stifling defense. Whenever the Knicks play them, I don't watch other games like that except in the playoffs. Then the players, all they're shooting. I mean, no one could, score on that team until Giannis got out, and then Chris Middleton had that really good final game. They have RJ Hampton, who again he's a major project.
They've got RJ. The Bucks have RJ Hampton.
Did they? Oh no!
He's with the Nuggets.
They traded. I'm sorry, traded. They get. So the Bucks, I think, drafted him, but then he was traded to the Nuggets, I believe.
The Nuggets.
Trying to find.
I mean, I'm looking at they don't have anybody there that I feel like. I mean, you got Chris Middleton. I think we know what Chris Middleton is by now. I don't know if he's really taken any other steps forward. I think we know what he is. To me, he's more of a third option than a second option. You got Giannis. Unless Drew Holiday, really does step into his game and become that legit second guy that really, I don't know. I mean, those are your big three, right? Giannis, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton. I don't know. And then you got DJ Augustine, who's going to back up Drew Holiday. So their point guard situation has changed tremendously from last year, right? Last year it was Eric Bledsoe and George Hill. It's changed tremendously. Now it's Drew Holiday and DJ Augustine. I mean, is Drew Holiday an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe? Yes. Is DJ Augustine an upgrade from George Hill? I don't know. I like some of the things that George Hill brings to a team. I like some of his toughness, 3-point shooting. He can play defense. I mean, looking at the roster, I mean, obviously they have a good roster but I just don't know where they get that extra punch from, unless Bobby Portis is going to bring it.
But you know what, though? You know what? When you have a system, I mean, you can get a little bit more out of some of these guys. I mean, Bobby Portis should have, when he came to the Knicks, I mean, he should have been seen as what I think he's going to project to be, a role player with space up the floor. He's not going to give you great defense, right? He'll be able to hit the three, and that's something they needed on that team, right? I mean, when they got to the playoffs, they just went blank, especially in like who was scoring for them. I mean, until that last game that Giannis was out, and then Chris Middleton came alive. Now, I do have another question. Do you think that Giannis re-signing and the team, not the coach, and obviously coach trying to take the next leap, do you think that they move on from Budenholzer?
Who else are they going to go get? I mean, he helped to make them. He helped to turn them into the team that they are now. Right? Jason Kidd was there. He didn't really get it done. Budenholzer came in and turned them into a powerhouse. I guess now the question is, can he get them over the top? But who else do you bring in that can get them over the top? Guys that I don't know.
I mean, they're damn sure not going to go with Mark Jackson, and not going to go with
hell no
experimental coach like your boy Shaka Smart at Texas. They're not going to coach him. I like Shaka Smart too. I wonder when he's going to get. Cool. I think Texas is what, they're 17th or something like that. They're ranked really decently. Yeah, they are. Hold on. They are. Yeah, they're 11th, ranked 11th. So yeah, it's tough, man. And the funniest thing is, I don't think Giannis is a yes man, but given Budenholzer's style of play, right, he likes to space the floor, and guys got to be in the proper spots. But Giannis just doesn't space the floor. So how the hell do you tell a superstar you just signed to a crazy contract, a supermax contract? You know what I mean? Do you think Giannis? And I think Giannis, right? I think he is the type of guy he's trying to, right? But do you keep pushing that, or is it Giannis's team? Basically what I'm trying to say is, Giannis different from the superstars that we've seen in the game that they don't really elevate their game or challenge the game because they got the big money and basically the talent is theirs, or does he buck the trend?
I think Giannis is a guy that can buck the trend, just given his background and where he's come from. I guess it could work. I guess it could work either way. Given his background. I mean, he was a kid. I don't know if if you ever watched those movies where those kids. What's the movie I'm thinking of? I can't even think of the name of the movie now. But where kids they over in he's Greek, but over in Indian stuff, right? And they leave home and they're out and they're hustling people and they're trying to find ways to make money, just kind of living on the street, stuff like that. I mean, he was almost one of those kids. You know what I mean? So, he came up. I mean, he came up that way, and I mean, he was just kind of discovered in some gym and where he's from, and people say, "Yo, look at this kid." So I think he's kind of grounded that way. You know what I'm saying? And knowing where he came from and what he had to do to get to where he is. So I do think he's kind of grounded and will continue to work, try to improve his game. I think he's got that kind of character.
Kind of like the anti-Harden. You just get me so
and listen, even with him, the fact 2 years ago he said I'm with the Bucks, I don't want to leave the Bucks, and everyone continued to say he might leave the Bucks, maybe he's looking at Dallas, maybe he looks at this team or that team, and he said one time, I'm not leaving the Bucks, I'm going to stay here, and he resigned. I think he is a guy that's gonna and he got his brother on the team. He ain't going nowhere.
That's true. He does have his brother, Thanasis.
Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Somebody said you trade him for Zach LaVine. I don't think the Bulls would take on, say, Chris Middleton's contract. And I don't know. I think that, again, because Zach LaVine is good of a scorer. He's not a really good defender. And I think that Budenholzer likes some of those. He likes the defensive identity of that team, especially in the regular season.
Right.
And Giannis is part of that. I'm not sure if Zach LaVine is that type of guy to buy into that. But again, that's a team. Let's see, because again, they can't really bring anybody else in. They gave up RJ Hampton. They have Sam Merrill and something. Was it Nunwa? I don't know the other draft pick. So, that's the team that really has to be coached up. Now they have Drew Holiday, who I think is an intelligent player, underrated, good defender, can get the ball around, can score a little bit. Other than that, yeah, you're right. I mean, DiVincenzo will probably have to take a leap.
Yeah, right.
And even Giannis is going to have to take a leap in his offensive game, man. It can't just be driving to the basket and dominating. I mean, if you're losing like that in the playoffs, that means that everybody has the book, or at least the best teams have the book on you. You know what I mean? So I'm rooting for Giannis because I like his personality. I like the fact that he's a dog. I like the fact that, on the court, he's a nice guy off the court, but on the court, he's a killer. He's not, one of these guys that, swap jerseys and, pull a Moutier, or who was it? Was it Moutier that was asking for Dwayne Wade's jersey like an idiot?
Yeah, Moutier. Moutier.
You have any awareness of like dogs? Like you're asking for wage.
Well,
That thing,
I
that
mean,
thing, that game. I wanted to punch Moutier so like dogs.
where's
You know,
Moutier right now? He's
he's a
not
free
playing.
agent. The
He's
Prince,
free
the
agent.
Prince
He's not
Bun,
playing.
the Prince Bun, your boy Moutier, man. Where's he at now? This dude, the Prince, used
He's
to.
not
Oh,
playing.
y'all know nothing about Moutier. It's like dogs. Moutier is not that good,
Yo,
bro.
Prince was a
Livid.
hard supporter, man. He was a hard supporter. I mean, like that was his guy. That was his guy. Like he liked Moutier. It wasn't even that he was mad because we was getting on him. He liked Moutier. I mean, I'm not even gonna front. Coming out the draft, I wanted the Knicks to take Moutier. I'm not even gonna lie.
The thing about it scares me though, man. You got a lot of guys in these drafts, a lot of guys come out of high school where they look good with the ball in their hands because they're bigger and they're faster and they're more talented than everybody else. And I'm not just saying, high school players who are not going to project even against guys, but I'm talking about even in some of the AAU circuits and whatnot. And it's like, in the AAU, they're not really teaching fundamentals. It's like, hey, you're the most dynamic player on the team. Just do your thing for the most part. They're not teaching these guys how to shoot, how to pick their spots. They're not teaching them, all right, you're 6'8". You shouldn't be, you're 6'8". You shouldn't be a point guard. Not say that obviously they're point guards who could be 6'8", but there's some guys that's like dogs. You are only a point guard because your school and all your levels allowed you to do whatever you wanted to, but you never developed. You're just a big man just running down the court with the ball in your hand. You know what I mean? And that's a 6'5" guy. He never developed his jump shot. Never really. He should have been more in the mold, even though now guys are a little bit taller. More of a mode of like, say like a true combo guard or like he should have been developed like a shooting guard, right? A guy could pick his spots, play off ball, not be effective without the ball in his hands. And when he came to the Knicks, you saw, it's like, oh, okay, he's never really developed.
I think Deion Sanders ruined his career, but
Oh, with the fake school, the
fake school. Then he couldn't go. If he would have got to play under Larry Brown, you might have seen a different Moutier, right? Instead, he went over to China, wherever he went, didn't get any coaching. Sprained his ankles and all that kind of stuff. I blame it on Deion Sanders. He ruined Moutier.
Deion Sanders, man. Must Be the Money is one of the greatest rap videos of all time. My cousin loves Deion Sanders because he had this stupid reality TV show. We used to ride around in an electric wheelchair because he was just lazy, and he would like pee on the lawn, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy, he's a legend." But yeah, that school I read about that school, and someone else was actually supposed to go there.
Yeah. There was a couple of kids that was supposed to go to that school.
There was was a Sports Illustrated or no? It was like an ESPN. Not 30 for 30. It was an ESPN. Maybe it was 360 or ESPN won the article. I think it was maybe 360. Yeah, they messed up big time. A lot of young kids. Yeah, terrible. So
yeah.
And look what happened with me. I mean, and we'll get to it. We'll talk about DSJ, but this is the fear I have, man. When evaluations are made on kids, man, you got agents, you got the push to get into the league to make the money, whatnot. Nice guys, even that 1 year in college or 1 year in prep or wherever they go, they don't really develop their skills. They're just there to showcase and get put higher up in the draft. And a guy like DSJ, and we'll get to it. But what are your initial thoughts on the Nets, man, after that preseason game?
I didn't even watch it. I don't even know what happened. To be honest with you,
your boy
I don't know.
Man. Your boy KD's looking spry, man.
Is he?
He's looking scary, man. He
had a year out. Listen, you know what? They asked KD, and I respect the answer. I'm not even gonna lie. I respect the answer. They asked KD, how much, did it bother you or did it hurt you to not be out there with your teammates? He was like, it didn't. He's like, I enjoyed my time off. He was like, I enjoyed my time off. I got to sit back and rest a little bit, let my body heal, this and that and the other thing. And now I'm back. I respect that. I respect that answer.
Those guys have no sense of just like trying to build up team culture, even at the expense. I don't want to say it being fake, right? But it's like they don't even know how to like. It's one thing if it's Jordan, right? If Jordan is like, man, hey, I had to heal a blah blah, because you just know he has that killer attitude, that killer instinct, right? But with KD and Kyrie, like when you have Dame Lillard was on Kyrie's IG, saying like dogs, like do your media sessions, bro. Like even other NBA players like like these two are just clowns, like dog. What are you guys doing? And KD is like, I look at that team, man.
Yeah.
I was listening to not the Game Theory podcast. It was no, it was the Game Theory podcast, and they're going over the East. And they're saying how that team, they're probably expecting, if you look at that team talent wise, they could take the East. Just with KD and Kyrie, they have so many good ancillary parts, even though defense may be an issue, right? They picked up that kid Brown from the Pistons, really good perimeter defender. They got Joe Harris, they got Karis LeVert, who's still kind of up and down. They got Tyler Johnson to give you, a good 10, 15 minutes off the bench. But I think he played fairly well in the bubble. So they have pieces there. And they also still got Jared Allen. Still got, DJ for the last few years, a few games he probably played healthy. So they have a squad, man. It's up to KD and Kyrie. And I think that team, that they could be better if the chemistry was stronger. And I just don't think that they can. The chemistry, it's going to be a two-man game between those two when it comes down to it. A lot of guys are not going to get looks that probably should. Right,
Yeah, we'll see. I seen them do. They did something on Instagram. I didn't see the whole thing. I just listened to like 30 seconds, and Kyrie was like, KD was like, he was talking to him. He was like, when you got, something about when you got the point guard down in the post doing something, and Kyrie was like, oh, so I can't post up 4 times, only 3 times, KD was like, I thought we agreed on 2. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? I just didn't even finish listening.
And this is why I get on Josh. I think Josh does this to get attention. Josh is saying Nets have no team culture. What team culture do the Nets have? Tell me one guy on that team that you've seen so far that everybody else galvanized around that's like he's the defining leader. When KD and Kyrie are literally going back and forth as to who got Stephen Nash hired, right? When you literally have a guy, I don't see any guys really extolling either of those guys, right? Again, when they had Kenny Atkinson there, they had D'Angelo Russell, they had and Dinwiddie's still on the team, right? When they had those guys, you saw the chemistry amongst those guys, right? And I think that kind of elevated them, right? They all kind of galvanized around D'Angelo Russell, even though he wasn't necessarily like this bona fide leader. You could say he was a leader because he's the point guard, he's the best player, the most talented player on the team. It was unselfish play. The identity was team. Like you didn't feel like any one person was taking the spotlight. You tell me, Josh, what's the identity of the Nets team? You go around the Nets area, no one cares about that team. I've seen more events for like Black Lives Matter. I've seen more events for like it's like a Brooklyn something thing. Like, but I don't even see Nets events where it's like they're trying to go out there and talk with the people around there. Like, no one in that area cares. I've seen more people go to the Apple store than hang around that freaking that same like. And I understand it's closed because everything that's happening, but I'm talking about like fan interactions. They don't do anything around that area like that. Like, so what are you talking? Josh, of course, Josh is the Riddler. He just got me off kilter. But
well, listen. They have 2 superstars. So Josh is very, very hung up on the Knicks getting a superstar yesterday. So they got 2 superstars. So that's why that's what it is with Josh. I can guarantee it.
So let me ask Josh this, and do you think that we had KD and Kyrie because they went to the Nets? Well, KD went to the Nets because of less pressure. We all know that. You think KD would have survived coming to the Knicks, not be able to play a year, then still having the pressure of so-called leading the Knicks back to so-called glory? Like, dogs. People want to people say, oh, because it's New York, blah blah. Again, they didn't want to come here, so how could you force it? Are we going to sit there? Okay, you want to be like the old Knicks who were just trading draft picks because everybody cries and says, "Oh man, we could have Jamal Murray." And what we gave? Why we trade Jamal? We gave him up for Carmelo Anthony, right? Gave up So what do you want? You want development, or you want us to force superstars to come in? And Patrick Ewing did come out and say, "Hey, you guys got to be patient. Stars going to come in." And he's saying that because he's saying trust in the system. Tibbs will get you the framework. If this Knicks team overachieves and gets 35 wins, because we have really good coaching, RJ Barrett takes the next step. Obi Toppin's looking like that guy. And I'm talking about we do even better say in the second half, right?
Bro, if we are 35 wins, that means we're 35 and 37. That'd be.
I forgot. Well, okay, yeah, fair enough. If the Knicks are 35 and 37 with this team, and you have even forget RJ Barrett, say Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, and Kevin Knox are the guys who you see real development. Obviously, Obi's a rookie, but I'm saying he looks like one of those guys, right? You're gonna have stars, not only say superstars. You're gonna have players that want to come to a team where they have young talent, they have a good coach, a good system. So again, we can't look at this and say, oh, we don't have super. It's like dogs. We've had Coco stars before and it didn't work, right? Like,
and Josh sent the message today and said, what are we saving the money for? And I keep telling them, it's not about just saving the money for one specific player. It's about having the flexibility that when a player is probably not going to just come sign with the Knicks. So the best way for the Knicks to get a player might be through trade, right? So if you have the cap flexibility, you have draft picks, you got umpteen draft picks, you have some young guys, somebody comes up every single year, some player becomes available. Right? Every single year, some star player becomes available. When the right player, not the player that you want or the fans want, but when the right player, what they think is the right player comes along, then they'll make a move. That's the reason why they're setting the table.
And Tom Thibodeau said it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that the Knicks have enough young talent. I think, from what I've seen so far in the last 2 preseason games, if it continues, if the trend continues, they're playing hard, right? They're playing some defense where they are able to set the table so that they can bring in, like the Clippers did when they overachieved a couple years ago. Then they got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The Nets, they overachieved. They got Kyrie Irving and they got Kevin Durant, right? Because they overachieved and they had something. And so players said, I'm going to go there because I can be that piece that takes it to the next level. That's what I think the Knicks are going to try to do right now. And they had the ability, if it happens this year, it probably, I don't know what player is going to want out, but they're going to have the ability to either, let's just say somebody came available at the trade deadline and their contract is $30 million. Well, you can trade Julius Randle. That's $18 million of it right there. Then you can take another young player and you can take the rest of it into your cap space if you want to. You can give them draft picks, right? If it's not until next season and the Knicks decide we're not going to re-up Julius Randle, we're going to let Obi Toppin have that spot. Well, now you got $60 million or something like that available in cap space, where if something happens, you can help somebody. If a player comes available, you can help somebody absorb. You can absorb somebody's contract to help relieve somebody's salary. And then you can also take in that star player. I mean, so much that you're going to be able to do. You know what I mean? But if you buckle your money down with somebody just because you want to create a buzz, right? And then now when that player that you really want comes available, you're like, damn, I'm buckled down.
I wish I had the flex. Yep. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. I wish I had the flexibility to make that move. I'm buckled down. What's the point? If you're not going to be really not going to be good, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Just let the money be free until it becomes, and hope that you develop the young guys. We got enough young guys. We got at least 2 or 3 that could bud and start to make the team look decent. So,
right.
So far, RJ Barrett, 20 points per game. I know it's just a preseason, 20 points a game, shooting 50% from the field, and he's not shooting well from 3 yet. Wait till he starts knocking down a 3-point shot.
And by the way, guys, I just put out a video on RJ Barrett showing his first 2 games in the preseason, trying to break down the shot. Definitely some improvement. The mid-range, which I thought that the form was decent last year. I mean, this year it looks even better. And I think that from the 3-point line, obviously in the first game he shot 0 for 4, but you saw the form a lot more structure, a lot more compact, regardless of his jump. I think the thing with RJ Barrett, again, is that, with threes, he doesn't, like, the timing is a little bit off. Like, the power he puts behind his jumps are inconsistent. Like, look at his mid-range, right? He jumps, and the reason why is because I think stationary, right? If you look at his game, right, or especially last year, he would step on like the tippy toes, right? And some guys when they get the ball, they kind of have to like do that gather with the feet and then shoot. and he was doing a lot, but he was doing it off the tippy toes versus guys like, and he wouldn't get a lot of lift because he's already on his tippy toes. So it's kind of like he's just stepping on his toes, right? He's not really getting on like the ball of his foot or even a little bit on the heel, right? So again, with RJ Barrett, and guys, if you want to check the video, I pinned it, so please check it out. Comment, tell me what you think. Because I'm going to be chronicling that, and also his foul shooting too, where last year he would hold the ball up here when you're not supposed to do that, right? There's no power, there's no real nice rhythm. You're supposed to have like a low load, pull it up and shoot. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that too. But the guy RJ Barrett, and I forget even last game, who had the 24, 25 points, a guy like RJ Barrett, who I said is, I call Majin Buu. You probably don't watch or didn't watch Dragon Ball Z back in the day, but for the young kids who know what Majin Buu is, he reminds me of the guy who's always trying to evolve his game and always trying to get better. So I have no qualms with him. And the thing about this team is that Thibodeau, they're a bunch of young players. Some who I don't think are going to make the team, but a guy like Frank who's looked good in or decent in some of the spurts that we've seen. A guy like Kevin Knox, again, I know didn't have a great second game, but if he could find his way to be productive in the system, hitting shots in the corner, in the wing, I mean, again, I'm not too like plus over. Oh, we have to get a superstar now. I'm not. I don't want to destroy this team. What Tom Thibodeau's doing? Let Tom Thibodeau work with what we have, and
right.
he keeps going from the guys, and then we get the veterans or free agents and the drapt picks. So
now he did say, Tom Thibodeau did say he thinks it's critical that you have a star. He did say that, but that doesn't mean that he wants the team to go rush and get any star.
Right. And speaking of Tom Thibodeau, hopefully your mouth is not about to fall apart yet. But
no, I'm good.
I want to go over the Tom Thibodeau interview if you wanted to.
I didn't hear it all. I didn't get a chance to hear it all. So you have to tell me everything that he said or listen to it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna play it. So
okay, cool. Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can hear it. Actually no way. If I play this voice meter thing better work. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear. So I'm gonna start off right now.
Hi, Coach. The first question.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Our first question comes from Steve Popper from Newsday.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Tom. I know that you said earlier this year that you just want to have a say in personnel, but having been a president before, just wondering, on the whole, seeing the Giannis news today, is there a best practices way you see to build a team when you see these free agents? You can't really plan cap space and things like that.
Yeah, well, I think the system is set up to help the team that drafted the player to keep them, and so there's a big advantage. So it's hard to get someone to leave, but every player, every situation is different. So you plan for.
Real quick, I just sped it up, so go a little faster. So
okay.
I think being opportunistic is important. Sometimes there's situations that arise, whether it be through free agency or trade. But I think every day that has to be a priority for the organization to seek out those opportunities. And I think when you look at what's going on in the league, things can change very quickly. And so you work every day with your player development. You try to improve through the draft, and then you have free agency and you have trades. And I think you have to be very aggressive in each area. Sitting back and waiting sometimes is not a good thing.
Next question comes from Rebecca Harlow, MSG Network.
Coach, hope you're doing well over there.
Hey, Rebecca.
Through 2 games here, Nerlens has had your highest plus minus. I know that's a very small sample, but what have you seen from him? Is he doing things to fight for that, keeping that starting role?
Yeah, and again, it's not set in stone, but I like what Nerlens and Mitch bring to the team. They're elite shot blockers. They're great finishers. They put pressure on the rim. And so that's a very important part of our team. And we'll see how it unfolds. And again, starting is not as important as to who's finishing. But I think depth will be very important for every team in the league. And I like the fact that we have 2 quality big men like that really help the team defensively.
Next question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Berman.
After watching film of Game 2, if you noticed something more about Obi's performance and what he did and didn't do correctly. And also, it seemed like a pretty long practice today. Was there an emphasis on dealing with zone defenses and how to attack it a little better than you did the other night?
Well, I think, you're still in training camp. So you'd like to work on everything every day, but that's not possible. So you have to prioritize the things that you want to get in each day. And it's sort of been mapped out prior to training camp even beginning. And then, of course, you have the games, and there's things that the games tell you exactly where you are. It also tells you the things you like to work on. So there are a number of things that we feel we could do better. But I like the fact that, we did come back and get the lead in the third quarter. But I think understanding the importance of playing for 48 minutes and doing the right things is very important. So just concentrate on improvement each and every day. We're not going to be perfect. We'll make some mistakes, and we have to learn from them. And that's what we're trying to do.
Next question comes from Brian Mahoney.
Hey, Tom. I know it's a players' league, but I think looking at this season, a lot of people would say with your success in this league history, you're probably right now the best thing the Knicks might have going for them. Are you kind of okay with that as a coach that, we got to build just with me first? And is there sort of is there pressure on the coach a little bit that he is sort of the best thing he has going for a franchise in the beginning?
No, I don't look at it that way. I think, the thing that's appealing for me is that the great challenge that this job is. And I like the guys that we have, and you don't do anything by yourself. It's the group, and it's the front office, it's ownership, it's the players. We're going to need everyone pulling in the same direction and doing everything we can each and every day to improve. And that's what we want to keep in mind. And I think at the end of the day, we all really only answer to ourselves. Only we know if we're putting everything we have into something. And I think when you do that, anything is possible. So if we keep concentrating on the improvement, we will get better, and we will see good things in the end.
Next question, Mike Morkanoff, The Athletic.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Mike.
A lot of the talk with RJ coming out of last season and into this year was just about his jump shot and improving that. And I think he said as much in previous coaches and staff and all that. Do you see a difference with his jump shot so far this season in form and not just the results?
Well, I think, like with most players, the long layoff, he had a lot of time to work on his shooting, and I think he did. I think he's got the benefit of having a year under his belt now. So there's usually a case where most young guys will improve if they're diligent in their work, and I think we're seeing that. He's worked hard on a lot of different areas of his game, and so I think we'll see him continue to grow because of the way he approaches it. But he can play well without shooting well. There's a lot of other things that we can do, and I like the way he's mixing it up. He's scored a number of layups off cuts. He's running the floor a lot better. He's moving without the ball. And then I think he's gotten a lot more confident in his shot preparation. And when he takes good shots, he'll have rhythm. And that holds true for the entire team. So we're stressing the importance of rim reads. And when you drive the ball, if there's three guys on you, hit the open man, make the extra pass. And when you do that, you usually get better shots.
Next question comes from Steph Bondi, Daily News.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Steph.
Going back to the roster building, you've seen it through the league over the years. Stars want to play with stars, and you saw how much, I'm sure as a Team USA coach, how much they enjoy playing with each other. With that being said, how important is it to get a star on this roster? Whether, you brought up the different avenues together with the draft, free agency trades, and how important is that just to build a base for building this roster?
Well, I think it's critical. I think when you look at every team in the league, particularly the playoff teams, and there's a lot of different paths to getting stars. And sometimes it's the development phase. I think when you look at Jimmy Butler, when he came in, he hardly played as a rookie. He played more each year, and then he's become a top 10 player in the league. So it's a testament to his work ethic and how he approached things. So some guys continue to get better year after year. Sometimes you have to do it through trade. Sometimes it's free agency, but I think you have to be very aggressive in seeking out those opportunities. They just don't happen by accident. You have to make them happen.
Our last question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Can you ask me?
Hey, Tom. So, again, what could Obi learn from his second game?
And probably the biggest thing about being a pro is there's going to be ups and downs. So, it was probably a little easier the first game. The second game, he had more attention on him. He can play well without shooting well. Again, he can score a number of different ways. He can score running the floor. He can score in the post. He can score off the drive, and he can score with his jump shot. So mixing it up, scoring different ways, playing well defensively, trying to get stops, get into the open floor, that sort of thing. He's a terrific kid, great worker. Study film. Each game, you may not win, and if you don't win, obviously that's what you're trying to do. I want you to learn, and so I think that's he took a hard look at himself and what he could do better. And he came in, he studied, he worked hard, and he got a great practice today. And just be ready for tomorrow. The games keep coming. You have to keep getting better.
Thank you, Coach.
So yeah, that was the interview by Tom Thibodeau. I don't think I've heard anything different from what I was expecting. Again, I personally like what he said about RJ Barrett. Have versatility in regards to how you score, and RJ Barrett, he's shown that. Forget even last game where he, obviously went off, had turnaround jumpers, and was hitting from the mid range, driving baseline, everything. But I like what he said about the fact that you have to. He's not trying to baby these guys. I'm not saying he's not trying to develop them and teach them, but hey, when the opportunity, you have to take it. Jimmy Butler, like I said, did not have a lot of time his rookie season. Even his rookie season, or his younger years, he was more seen as a defensive guy, right? And he had to fit a role and then expand from there. What were your overall thoughts on the interview? By the way, Mark Berman found a way to ask 2 questions. So you can tell he's a slime ball. But
Mark Berman always sneaks in there. I listen to sometimes he's like, Tom, you didn't you didn't answer my question from two interviews ago. I mean, it be cracking me up sometimes. But I think that they try to box him in a little bit about, to try to get him to say, we need a star. Go get me a star. But he was slick in saying there's multiple ways to get a star, right? You can trade for one, but you can also develop your star, and mention Jimmy Butler, right? So you figure he's talking about the young guys on the team that have barely gotten their feet wet in the NBA. Specifically RJ Barrett, whose Mark pointed this out yesterday. He's still in his rookie season when you think about it, right? He hasn't even played 82 games.
That's very true.
Hasn't even played 82 games in the NBA. So he's still basically a rookie.
Looking like a man out there compared to some other players.
He has. The kid has a long ways to go in his development and what he's going to be in his career. Is he the guy right now that you can just straight up say, yeah, we're definitely building around RJ? Maybe not, but give him some time. Let the kid grow a little bit. Just let him grow. Same with Obi. They asked him about Obi. I don't. Nobody should be worried about if Obi is going to be a star or not. Just let him play. Yeah, he's got to figure out some stuff in the NBA. He's got to figure out the speed. That's the one thing I was worried about. Well, people said, "Oh, he can spread the floor." And I was like, "Well, he hadn't seen NBA length or speed coming at him yet either. So we got to see if he's going to be able to do it." His shot looks great to me. When I see him let it go, it looks like, I see him let it go. It looks great. Looks like it's, looks good. So I feel like it's going to, end up falling, but there's some things that he's just got to get used to, mainly probably the speed of the NBA that he's got to get used to. I'm not going to say the only guy. The main guy that I just worry a little bit about is Mitch. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do want to say this, though. I do want to say this, though. Because I seen in a group chat today, people were like, just trade him already. Talking about Mitch. That's what they said. This is what I don't understand, though, about players, right? Because every player that you draft, every player that you acquire is not going to turn out to be a super duper star. So if Mitchell Robinson does not end up being, the guy that you say is your starting center, why does it mean that you have to trade him? He makes $1.8 million. Pay him what he's worth. He can block shots. He can run to the rim. Why does it mean that you have to trade him? I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So what? If they decide that he's not your starter, you still need depth. I just don't get it. Why does every player have to end up being your starter, especially a guy that we got, in the second round? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
And first and foremost, Black Prophet, thanks for the super chat, man. It says, Luke, keep up the good work, man. Thank you, bro. And both you guys can please like the video, subscribe, and even after the video, please comment. Let's get the conversation going. To that, it's like anybody that we draft in that flashes just a little bit, they got to be a star. You know what I mean? We have guys that, Mitch Robinson had those dunks and whatnot. You got to be a star. And to the point that obviously some guys develop later, especially in this day and age where, college and guys are just coming out, not really getting true development. If you get a guy like Mitchell Robinson, say he develops late, there are a lot of guys who develop late in the NBA and they show out for the third, fourth team that they're on. You know what I'm saying? If you have that vision to say, all right, he's immature now, but maybe, if we get him on cheap, because obviously he has 6 agents, so he's probably not even
6 agents. That's crazy.
I was gonna say he's probably not gonna get big money, but that's terrible. I shouldn't say it like that. But you might be able to, given the fact that this sounds so like a vulture, but given the fact that regardless of his career and all these agent changes and whatnot, he might be looking for some stability. That even if he does flash, look like he'd go to another team, he might be like, look, I'm gonna just stay with this Knicks team. I don't, my agents tell me this. I don't even trust him. Let me just stay with the people that drafted me. This Thibodeau believes in me. He's, been steadfast in me, even though I screwed up at the Olympics and blah, blah. He might take it that route. So again,
he might
for these guys to develop and do well. But Mitch Robinson, again, I thought you were gonna say DSJ because after last game, bro.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I'm talking. I kind of don't feel like there's a couple guys that in my heart I just know are not going to be on this team.
Sorry, Sim. Sorry to cut you off. Can you say that one more time for Charles B, who said he's trying to call me the Legion Destroyer because me and all the people in Freezy's chat destroyed DSJ, aka I can't pass out a double team, aka I'm calling a screen against the zone defense, aka that super athleticism or whatever does not translate into me being a point guard. So can you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't feel like DSJ. I feel like DSJ is probably going to be traded at some point. Tom Thibodeau is trying to turn him into a point guard, right? And he's trying to get him to facilitate, and I just can't see it being his natural. That's not what he does naturally. He needs to be on a team that he can just do what he does, a team that's going to be satisfied letting him do what he does. I think that's the only way he's going to play confidently, right? Like Tom Thibodeau was talking about him being trapped. I'm not blaming Tom Thibodeau, but I feel like one of the reasons why you see him struggle with the trap is because he's trying to figure out, how does coach want me to get out of it, get out of this trap? Where in the past, I've seen DSJ split the trap and go to the basket, right? Because that's what his natural, that's what he does naturally. Right now, I feel like he's thinking about, what do I do? And I don't know. I'm just not seeing, if Tom Thibodeau wants him to be a point guard, I don't think it's going to happen for him. And, he might be, if he's going to be a shooting guard on this team, you already got those guys that are and probably can do it better on the defensive end. I got to give it to him. He's trying on the defensive end. He's working and he's trying.
I give DSJ big credit on that. He's looked excellent defensively, active hands, motivated as hell. I'll say it's about DSJ too, because your boy Chuck B is trying to say, Sim likes Frank. Let me say a thing about Frank though. Frank has at least shown that he has a modicum of being able to play outside of the point guard position, right? He's played. He hasn't gotten crazy minutes. Obviously got fouled out. That's terrible. He has to do way better on that end. But again, last game, refs calling ticky-tack fouls. But again, no excuses. But at least Frank has showed he could. There's at least some ability for him to play off ball. I'll ask about DSJ, right? If DSJ is not playing based on his athleticism, what does he do well? Like, I'm not even saying what can he do that you can keep him in the lineup if that initial weapon is not being utilized, right?
Right.
He can't play off ball. Obviously, the size limits him from being anything but at the very best a combo guard, right? Yesterday, I'm watching the game right now too, just the highlights and stuff. Guy couldn't split, like you said, double team. He called for the pick from was it Mitch? Called for one pick. Is the one where the ball got bobbled and then Mitch got the ball somehow, and I think I forgot who they tried to throw it up to. But in that play, the double team came, and he got flustered, right? Lost the ball, and it's like point guards is almost cerebral, right? I've seen this. Remember the game where Trae Young was killing us? It wasn't until Frank came in at the end where Frank was double teaming way up high and he had to get rid of the ball. But he was splitting out double teams. He was killing us our double teams. And I've seen obviously Trae Young and DJ here and there, but even Ramon Sessions back in the day, be able to or make the proper pass, seeing okay, I know that double team is coming. I know I see the creep up. Get the pass to the open guy. DJ just can't do that.
And that's what Frank does, right? Like if he's on the ball and he's playing point guard, you don't see him get trapped like that. Why? Because he knows and sees that it's coming. He'll make the simple pass to somebody. People look and just say, "Oh, he's just making a simple pass," but it was a good simple pass because he avoided the double team and let somebody else make the play that scores the bucket or whatever happens. And DSJ doesn't recognize those things yet. I don't think he has good vision of seeing the floor and understanding what's going to happen in the game. That's why I think you just got to let that guy play the two and use his athletic ability. Like that's his strength. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to let him. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to try to work with him a little bit. Huh? No, not play him at a two, but play him and let him score.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
That's what I mean. But play him and let him score, not at the two. I think that's going to be the best way for him. I don't know if that's what Tom Thibodeau is looking at. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to try to give him time to figure out when do I score, when do I facilitate. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to work out.
And by the way,
I don't think it's going to work out for him.
I think Tom Thibodeau. Now, I think people are looking at this wrong. This is just my opinion. I think that Tom Thibodeau did not call plays out deliberately yesterday once the Pistons went into the zone. I think he was waiting for his team, for those guys on the court to adapt, like themselves to see what they will call out. Because Tom Thibodeau is not a dumb coach. He knows how to break a zone.
I think they tried. They didn't hit the shots. I think they tried. Then they called the timeout. Because when it first started, let me see. They had someone flash in the middle. I think it was Randle flash in the middle. They swung the ball around. One time Randle flashed in the middle. He swung it to Peyton, but he's not a 3-point shooter. He shot it, but he missed it. Right. I think they tried to get into it. You needed to have better shooters on the floor, though. Right, because Burks was on there. He should have been where Elfrid Payton was. Right, Burks was down in the corner. He should have been where Payton was. For that to go down. And then if you would have taken and had Reggie Bullock and Burks on the floor, now you got some wings. But I agree. I think Tom Thibodeau was probably like, let me see what these guys can do. Let me see if someone looks over to me and says, "Hey, coach, can you put Reggie Bullock in the game?" or something like that. Which that should be Elfrid Payton.
That second unit had one successful pass to Bullock where they passed him on the left and he made the three. But you're right. I mean, Obi took a shot, he missed it. But then even Knox got the ball up top, got double. I have to go back to it, but it's like I think he was trying to see how they process it, right? Yeah. Because when you can't every play, not saying you can't do it, right? But it's better off once you see a certain look, right? Everybody on the court knows how to adapt to it, right? That's the intelligence that I think that Tom Thibodeau wants you guys to have. So when you do so you can run more complicated things, right? So you can run the triangle, run motion, run whatever offense he's, that Tom Thibodeau doesn't have to call it out. It's like, all right, this team is showing this guy's here, he's in this. Let's call this because I know this exploits this defensive look a lot better than when we were running before, right? And I love that. I don't mind the fact that we lost. You got to get the guys who can't process the game on a higher level.
Exactly. Yeah. And even when that second unit in the third quarter, end of the third, top of the fourth, when they started to falter, right? He didn't just jump in and say, "All right, let me get these starters back in, or let me get these guys back in." He let them guys try to play. He said, "This, I'm gonna bring in." I guess, kind of knew that he was gonna bring in whatever group at whatever time. He let them guys try to fight through it and play through it. I mean, obviously, this is the time to do it, right? He's definitely, and you can see it. You can see it where you didn't see that from. I hate to always bring up Fizdale, but you didn't see it from Fizdale even in preseason. Like, you seen Fizdale trying to do some like retarded stuff. You know what players, like, why are you doing that? But like with Tom Thibodeau, like this actual coaching, like in the third quarter, right? They knew that Alec Burks was hot, so they kept trying to find Alec Burks. Right? Was that a call from Tom Thibodeau? I mean, I'm assuming it was a call from Tom Thibodeau, but they kept trying to find him and get him hot. Like, things like that are, coaching and learning and doing things. So you can see when he's doing stuff where you're like, okay, I understand what he's trying to do. With Fizdale, it was just like, hey, yeah, let me put Kevin Knox at the point guard spot right quick to see what happens. Like, he's trying out dumb stuff. Now, he didn't do that, but I do want to say that
because I saw a picture of Fizdale, and he has like this Frederick Douglass afro. Like, the dude is bugged out of his mind.
Yeah.
So you said, I'm just like, I'm dying because I'm like, yo, dog, this guy, like, he's probably a good guy, but he just bugs me. Now, I will say this, and salute to Nick G for pointing this out, because one of the videos we were looking at this, and we actually did do this. Fizdale was trying to run relatively nuanced things. Like, he tried to run the Spanish pick and roll with the Knicks in 2018, was it? But the team just couldn't get it. Nick G pointed this out. And there's an article. Is it Elite Sports New York? I think if you look up Fizdale Spanish pick and roll, whatever, where you find it. Nick G pointed this out that the only guy who was running it effectively was Ron Baker. So then Fizdale's just like, just scrap it. I mean, he was trying to run things that, get these guys who may not have been the most talented. But the issue with Fizdale is that he couldn't teach it. And I think that the lack of where it's like, all right, it's a Tibbs, or say it was a Phil Jackson coming as a coach, or a Popovich. Fizdale just doesn't have that voice per se.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's not a disciplinarian.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a key for me, that's a key in sports. Being a disciplinarian. In other areas, maybe you can do some other things in sports. I really think you got to be a disciplinarian. It's the only way. To
some extent, right? Your voice has to be effective. By the way, Chuck B, if you want to see it, because I pointed out one bad play where literally your boy DSJ missed Mitch. Again, go to 10:04 second quarter. Literally just stop it at 10:04, 10:05, right? Mitch is down low after Mitch cuts to the basket after the pick. Mind you, called the pick in the pick and roll in the zone, right? I'm looking at the screen right now. I wish I could show it. Mitch is dumb open down low for the pass. If he can't, all DJ has to do is just throw it up, right? He can't make a, he has to just throw it up, loop it up. Your boy catch it, drops and catch it, put it right at the basket. What does he do? Can't make the play. Make the play.
And Chuck B, let me say this, man. I seen when you said, I'm giving Frank props for dribbling the ball up the floor without falling. Yeah, you know what? If your other guard can't dribble the ball up the floor without falling, then I'm gonna give one guy the props for dribbling the ball up the floor without falling, right? Because Dennis Smith Jr., I mean, the dude literally dribbled backcourt, trying to get away from a trap. Right. Instead of figuring out how do I get out of the trap, or understanding or seeing the trap coming beforehand. So if you're going to laugh because I say Frank will just make that simple pass before the trap gets there, well, then maybe we're talking about your basketball IQ, buddy. Because a smart player will see what's coming and say, you know what? I'm not going to deal with the trap. I'm just going to pass it over here so we can swing the ball. Because now that I got two guys coming at me, that means somebody is open on the opposite side of the floor. So if I swing it to my guy at the top of the key and he swings it to that corner, we're probably getting open 3-point shots. You know what I'm saying? All from one simple pass that may seem very elementary to some people, but it's effective.
And by the way, he keeps saying Frank had a butt fumble. Frank did have the travel where he shimmied his man. He did travel, but he did have the three. He had the mid-range in the first game, had the three in the second. And he played, I mean, he did foul out. But again, Frank is showing more value in less minutes than DSJ is showing in more. You can't say here if they put. I'm telling you, Chuck. If they put in Miles Powell, and Miles Powell looks like he did at Seton Hall, maybe 30% of what he did at Seton Hall, he's possibly being DSJ, and not even necessarily for just a guard role higher than DSJ. DSJ right now, he's not shooting well, even though his form has changed. He's not really scoring well. And every time you go back to the first game, because Chuck tried to say, oh, he's beating his man to the basket. Almost every play he had, he's calling the pick and roll from Obi or Mitch because he the so-called speed demon, he can't get past his guy. So we got to be objective on these guys. And that's why I'm about to kill Sim and your boy Randle. Like, let's talk about Randle now. I'm joking.
I'm cool, man. You talk about it.
Sim's whole demeanor changes. Like, oh, Lord, what do you want to talk about, Randle? So your boy Randle. Now, oh damn, Sim is hurting. I'll end this.
I'm good.
All right. So your boy Randleson. He had some good plays. I watched early on. He did have really nice quick pass play, right?
One or two.
He had a few. Yeah, he had a few.
A couple of them.
Sim, I just want you to understand my point. I'm not saying Randle. I'm not one of these people saying that Randle's a bum. He's not a bum.
I know you've said it. You've said it plenty of times. I know.
He's a bum.
No, you gotta listen. I said I know you've said it plenty of times that you don't think he's a bum. I get mad at the people who, you know, two days, the game is gone for 2 days, and someone's saying, I wish everybody on the Knicks good night except for Randle. I'm like, man, y'all just being stupid. I mean, it's funny, it's hilarious, but I'm like, what? I mean, honestly, you know, listen, I defend Randle because I don't think that he deserves what the criticism that people give him. But the bottom line, he's not going to be here next year.
He's not.
Right, he's the other guy that I was saying I don't think is going to be here next year. He's not going to be here. DSJ, I think, is not going to be here. Randle's not going to be here. If you drafted Obi Toppin, you know Randle's not going to be. You're not going to put him on the bench. He's not going to be the bench guy because he's another guy that's ascending in his career. And if you're looking at it from the Knicks standpoint, it just would not be. It wouldn't be. It just wouldn't be honorable to say, we're going to ask you now to go to the bench on a team that's not even making the playoffs. If you're going to do that, just trade him to another team. Now, if he goes to a good team and he has to come off the bench, you know, that's on them. But, you know, you got Obi Toppin. They're not going to play together. So, I mean, that was clear from as soon as they drafted Obi Toppin.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, you know, arguing about Randle really is kind of a moot point.
Well, I'll say this.
But I'm gonna say this though. You know, people argue, they complain, but you know, talk to Tom Thibodeau. He's the one that's playing them 35 minutes.
That's very true.
Right. And so, you know, if you trust Tom Thibodeau, then you know he's playing them 35 minutes for a reason.
That's very true. I agree with you. And again, I think is that they're trying to showcase because the thing about Randle to me, Sim, is not if Randle was an abject bum, if he was like, you know, Chris Dudley, then I'm just like, whatever, I don't give a damn. But I watch him, and here's an annoying thing about Randle. He can make the right play. He has made the right play. When he drives straight to the basket, when he has that angle from the wing, and his man can't stay in front of him because there's a Brahma bull just drive it, it's like, or he gets it deep in the post, and he puts, I'm like, why can't this Randle, why can't he do this all the He would be so effective and be able to expand out his game a little bit because he can hit the little foul line inside the foul line jumper. I have no problem. I don't even have a problem with him attempting threes when the ball moves around and it comes to him and he has an open shot.
When it's open.
When it's open, yeah, no problem with that.
When it's open.
And then he'll do things like, I don't know if it was the first game or the second game. I think it was the second game. He was in the post, gets the double team. Literally, Bullock flashes to the wing. Easy pass. Hey, Bullock, you're open. Then Bullock's guy came to him. So if he passes to Bullock, Bullock's guy is trying to reset. Bullock makes a pass to the other wing that Randle ended up passing to. And lucky enough, Randle got it off. But it's like, dogs, if you play any better NBA team, they're playing that passing lane because they know that you're not going to make that pass. And first, it's just a bad pass. He jumped in the air, left his feet to make the pass. It's like,
well, I mean, let's see, because he did it better in the second game. I mean, he actually led the team in assists in the second game because he draws so much attention And I mean, I guarantee you, if you go ask RJ Barrett, some of them other guys, they don't get open threes when they don't get threes that wide open when Randle's not on the floor because he draws so much attention down there.
Right. Which means that, but Sim, here's the thing about it, right? You made a good point that, obviously last game, we didn't really have any real point guards to really lead this team and assist, right? But I'm not trying to take away from Randle. The thing about Randle is that here's the annoying thing about him. He get those hockey assists, the secondary assists. He could just his style of play, yes, it may get you 5 or 6 assists here and there, but it's also going to lead to needless turnovers, passes or dead balls, essentially allowing the defense to reset versus get it out to the guy that's open. Once you just get it out to him, he moves it around, right? Yes, you may not score in that possession, but you have a more fluid offense, and whoever missed that shot, maybe to develop into hitting better shots. Maybe Tibbs takes him out to put in a better guy. You know what I mean? You can see, okay, we need somebody to hit that corner three once it moves around because we do have good movement, but such and such can't hit the shot, or such and such just can't get the ball and drive to the basket. Once we move around, I think the style of play, it can get you production, but then on the flip side,
what I'm looking to see is if because he does hold the ball too. He does hold the ball too. Yeah, he had 5 turnovers. About 3 of them, one of them, I mean, you get a turnover for getting an offensive foul, right? He got the offensive foul. He got a stupid technical afterwards. It's preseason. Hopefully he doesn't take that into another one of the turnovers. Frank, passing the ball, it was going out of bounds. He tried to throw it back in bounds, and it was a turnover on him. So I mean, sometimes you get those kind of turnovers, and you can't help it's going to be attributed to you. But he passed the ball faster in that second game, getting it out of his hands faster. I think Tom Thibodeau was sending a message to him as well as Dennis Smith Jr. People look at it just as Dennis Smith Jr. about being trapped. I think he was talking about Julius Randle as well, learning to get that ball out a little bit quicker to make sure that the ball does get around the perimeter. But you've seen him, like you just said, you've seen him make some quicker passes with the ball. I think he did it with Nerlens Noel. Quick pass to Nerlens Noel. Nerlens Noel missed the mid-range. He had a nice quick pass to Alec Burks at the top of the key. I don't think he made it. I think he missed it. But it was a nice quick pass to him, nice quick touch pass to him. And he can do those things because he had a nice pass to Nerlens Noel cutting down the lane. Like, he can do some of those things if he can figure out how to get the ball out of his hands a little bit faster. To the credit of the New York Knicks, so far these 2 preseason games, RJ Barrett, he's leading the team in usage rate. Yep. Right at like 26 point whatever. Julius Randle, I think, is 23. I don't want to say percent, but usage rate of 23. However you say it.
You're right, percent.
RJ Barrett is leading the team in shot attempts, right? Yeah. Shooting 17 per game. Julius Randle shooting 11 per game. This is the way that people wanted to see it. That's the way that it's going, right? So, we'll see how we'll see if they figure out how to make it work, because I think Tom Thibodeau does too realize that Julius Randle is going to draw a lot of attention. And if he can figure out how to get that guy to move the ball a little bit faster, just that split second faster than he does, you can get some offense. Because right now I'm a little bit nervous about the Knicks offense, man. And I mean, 2 guys that can get you 18 to 20. I don't know who else can get it. We're hoping it could be Obi, but who else can get 15? Like, consistently.
Obi, RJ. That's why Kevin Knox, man, it's so annoying, because if he takes that step, right? If Kevin Knox takes that step and gives you the 13, 15 with good percentage from the floor, this Knicks offense, not say it takes an astronomical leap, but you literally have 3 guys that night in, night out can give you solid production, and guys can play off them. I know you're laughing at Rock Marciano.
This is somebody trying to throw shots at people.
I'm not going to listen to C-Mac, man. I already saw that. Screw you, C-Mac, man. Don't watch him about Rock Marciano, man. You crazy. But, it's just, I get so pissed because it's like, I want Knox to take that. I want these young guys to take that step. It is right there. And Tom Thibodeau's offense is only going to enhance your play, especially a guy like Knox, right? We talk about, we didn't have whatever, he didn't have the system at UK, whatever. But, if he does run things like a try, that's going to get you proper spacing knots. You will get opportunities to shoot the ball, off of a pick, or if it's a 2-man game, you're going to have opportunities. So, but you gotta step up. And I know it's only 2 preseason games, but
yeah.
man.
I mean, what did you think about having Obi and Randle on the floor at the same time at the 4 and 5?
That was miserable. It
didn't hurt the team. They were playing Detroit. It didn't hurt them at that point. And maybe that's the reason why he chose to do it, because, we'll probably be okay. Do you think he's going to look at it more?
If Randle sacrificed his game, right, where you could have, say in the zones, you have Randle switch at the foul line, switch with Obi between playing at foul line or box, or say the foul line, and hopefully Obi could space out effectively from one of the wing corner spots in his, it could work, right? Even Randle, I'd love Randle to just get that ball at the foul line, have crash or drive to the basket, have the defense collapse, and have Obi cutting down on the baseline. But I saw one play in the last game where Randle's driving from the foul line. I guess it's in this second quarter. I'm probably going to get to it. In the second quarter, Obi's crashing or coming from the corner on the baseline. He misses him. So it's like,
yeah, and they probably have to build that kind of, they probably have to build it, build that chemistry. Because I saw that same exact play, right? Yeah. He was crashing. He could have hit him. He missed him. You have to build it, because on another play, he went to the basket and he found Mitch for the dunk. Randle talking about, right? That was, he got an N1, right? So, sometimes I guess you gotta build it. You gotta see it. There was one time, I guess the shot clock was running down on that one. Obi, and this is the thing that Obi's a rookie, but I think if he's going to go to another level, I think Obi is going to have to not be as mechanical with the plays. And I know I'm saying something opposite than what I said before, but I'll get to it. When they first got in together, Obi was trying to run a play, right? So he passed it to Randle at the foul line. He wanted to run past Randle, get the handoff, and then Obi handed off to the other guard and go. Randle didn't hand it off. He turned around. I think he went to the basket and he got fouled. And I was like, okay, that's, if he called out and is trying to run a play, respect him and try to make the play be run. But then, what's called was like, oh, there was only however many seconds on the shot clock and you didn't have enough time to run the play. I'm looking to see them together on the floor again. I do want to see it a little bit more. I got a little bit more confident because it didn't hurt us in that game. I think one thing Obi's going to have to do, and this is probably not now because he's a rookie and he's just learning and he's going to follow what the coach says to do. But, he is a guy that runs a play to a T. Every once in a while, he's going to have to break it, I think. You know what I'm saying? When he finally notices, because at that point, because the reason why I'm thinking about that is because at that point, I don't think maybe he didn't notice that, okay, the shot clock is to 6 or 5. We're not going to be able to run through this play. I got the ball out here. Let me clear people out and just go ahead and take it. And he's got to get to that point to build that confidence to tell people to do that, right? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the way where it could work. I think that Obi starting off will definitely have to play near down low or be a guy who crashes a lot to the basket. If you have somebody driving, cutting into the center of the lane and be able to make that pass to Obi. I do think the shot is going to start to fall, but I want to work from a place of confidence with Obi. A guy like Randle, again, he has to sacrifice his game. He has to make. I don't even mind if he makes that pass and it hits off Obi or whatever, because at least you're making the right play. Now, one of you guys messed up. Maybe the pass was too hard, or maybe Obi just had brick hands at that time. You know what I mean? But I just want to see that play because I know Randle can do it. Let's see. Over the first 2 games, he's only shot the ball 11 times per game. Now, he's gone to the free throw line, so. That changes your shot attempts. I guess when you go to the free throw line, it doesn't count as a shot attempt, right?
if you get fouled.
Unless it goes in, right?
I guess, yeah, if it goes in, then I guess it counts as a shot attempt.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. But listen, for the people out there that just hate the guy, get used to him because Tom Thibodeau is about to have him on the floor. You can see it. I mean, you can see it. He had R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Elfrid Payton. Well, I mean, I don't know. He put Frank in the fourth quarter instead of Elfrid Payton the other night. Those two guys, though, and Nerlens Noel, you're going to see those three players on the floor a lot.
Because I think he knows what he has in guys like Elfrid Payton, right? I mean, Elfrid Payton's never going to be a good shooter, but facilitating slash, I think he really knows, like, all right, I know what I got. Let me see what I got in guys like DSJ because we have to make a decision with guys like DSJ. Especially, I know Quickly came in. And Quickly wasn't anything crazy, but he didn't do anything necessarily wrong, right? So you have to see what you have at that point guard position because, again, guys like DSJ might be extra fat that you have to spin off. So, we have the Cavaliers tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, go.
I can't wait till Austin Rivers comes back. Everyone is saying, and I'm not mad at what Elfrid Payton's been doing so far, but everyone's saying that Austin Rivers is definitely going to be the backup. I'm not so sure of that. I'm not so sure of that.
I'm
not so sure of that.
Because
I think Austin Rivers is going to have something to say about that. I think he's looking at it like this is my time. Like Elfrid Payton has not played on a playoff team. I've been in the league for 8 years and I've played on 5 of them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's looking at that.
He had impact on playoff teams. He had impact.
Exactly.
You look at his numbers with the Clippers, his usage rate, once his usage rate went up with the Clippers, his numbers got better. Not saying it's a positive correlation, but you gave him more looks. He did look better.
Yeah. Yeah. And his basketball IQ, I'm looking forward to having that on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see how they're going to look with Austin Rivers out there. And, I wish he wasn't hurt right now because I actually kind of think that he might have been the starter. He might have been the starter if he wasn't hurt. I think he might have been that starter.
He's a Tom Thibodeau type of guard. Not say a prototypical point guard, but a guard who can score off the. Tom Thibodeau likes that build of not uber aggressive, but guys who can create. They can make passes. They can do like those things well within like within a role. I could easily see Austin Rivers, right, going behind a pick, hitting the shot off the tip. Like he's the type of guy, and I'd say he's a great player. He's not a great player by any stretch of imagination, but he fits what Tom Thibodeau, I think, wants to do at a very base level, and no other guard really on this team can do that.
Yeah, I picture him being used kind of like Tom Thibodeau used Kirk Heinrich.
Like,
being that guy.
Exactly. Perfect.
And I think he's gonna have something to say about that. And you don't gotta be the guy to come out and get. I know Elfrid Payton gets 6, 7 assists. He doesn't have to do that. All he has to do is be able to facilitate and move that offense, knock down a shot when he needs to, and make smart plays, be intelligent on the floor. And I think he can do that.
Right. And let's get to tomorrow's game. Last but not least, by the way, I don't know. Are you covering it tomorrow?
I don't think I'm going to be doing it live. I'm going to do the post game.
Okay, cool. So I'll be covering it tomorrow. If any of you guys want to join, and obviously I'll direct you guys. You guys already know. I mean, you're going to go to NBK anyway, but obviously push any guys who aren't subscribed to NBK over there. But I'll be covering the game tomorrow. If you want to, basically just watch, the development or maybe some, cuts of certain players where it's like, all right, DSJ, you gotta go at it. I mean, you're doing terrible again. So, guys, you want to join me tomorrow, please. And the video chat will be open as well too. But your boy Isaac Okoro, man, he looked kind of good in the first game.
That guy.
I mean, but he did things that were kind of expected. He did hit his 2 threes. I'm not saying that he's not going to be a good player. I think it's just one game. First and foremost, a lot of these rookies look good in their first game because you had Oku or Poku Sokola, whatever his name, Shikabe Babla. He looked great in his first game. You had Denny Adiju, who I'm not the biggest fan of, even though Westbrook was out, was perfect from the floor. Theo Maledon had 30-some points. I got it. We could have had it late, at 33. Theo Maledon was there. We didn't take him. He had 30 points, and then Who was the other rookie that played against OKC played damn it. They played another rookie who looked good. There's like two teams with like rookies, obviously they drafted. They both look really good. The person who didn't look good, Anthony Edwards didn't look good. LaMelo Ball's passing looked great. His scoring, obviously, in the first game wasn't anything special. He had 0 points, and his shot. I think they played another. Obviously, his shot looked janky. His shot looked terrible. But what are your impressions on some surprising rookies? Oh, and my boy Devin Vassell, first game, 12 points, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, but. We got Obi, but what are your initial impressions?
I mean, you know what? I was thinking about it earlier today. Everyone said this was a weak draft, and I think a lot of these rookies are thinking to themselves, "Okay, watch," and they're coming out the ball. They're coming out to play, and there's a lot of guys that. I was looking to see what Vassell did, and I was like, "Oh, okay, he did his thing, and he did his thing out there." Isaac Okoro, I mean, we might have a surprising rookie class where everyone thought that this was a weak class. It might be a surprising rookie class. It might be. We'll see. We'll see coming forward. As time goes on, but.
Oh yeah, Halliburton. Thank you, Bodega. Halliburton had
Halliburton had like 11.7 assists. And I was high on that kid. I really like that guy.
I was back and forth, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was back and forth, but and it's funny that he may have been a Tom Thibodeau type, a defensive guy who gets steals, get easy ball.
Yeah.
Sadiq Bey looked good. Sadiq Bey looked good, man.
Sadiq Bey looks really good.
Looks really good.
You know what may have helped a lot of these players is maybe teams, because they thought it was such a weak draft class, they said, let's really pick a guy that fits exactly what we need, and we can help that guy shine a little bit.
Right. I agree.
And that maybe that's the reason why.
I think that this draft, I agree with you. This draft was like, get a guy I know people say that's not a good draft philosophy, but this draft, just because of the uncertainty that was there, you get a guy who does 1 or 2 things really well, fits into a role really well, and slowly expand it, right? And even I was saying guys like Isaac Okoro, he just scares me because I just remember the Stanley Johnsons and, who's the other guy, Justice Winslow, even Josh Jackson, who now, he looked good with the Pistons in that one game, but he's not on the Suns, the team that drafted him. So again, if, Isaac guy like Isaac Okoro, if you want him to be a wing defender, have it like that, slow development. Obviously, no people in the stands, so less pressure. Maybe he develops that confidence, get that shot in, and then next year when people hopefully allow back into the stadium, then you have a more of a developed guy who feels comfortable taking those shots. I agree. They said, I think Kira Lewis didn't have a great first game. I don't remember. I remember people kind of ishing on him on Twitter a little bit, but even Obi had I'm looking at videos where like, Obi. Oh, he was the right pick in the second game. I'm a little concerned.
I know, right?
Gosh, dude, let the kid live, man. It's literally his second NBA game.
Right.
Chill out. But guys, this has been fun, man. I know Sim is in pain right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to.
Hey, look, one thing, because we play the Cavs tomorrow, and Damian Dotson's going to be playing.
Oh,
And that's what I wanted to comment on. He makes one move, and everyone's like throwing their hands in the air, like, "See, we should have this, that, and the other thing." One move. Now, I'll give it to him. I think he's averaging like 11 points on 50% shooting, 44% shooting from the 3. Maybe he found a nice home. I hope he did find a nice home over there in Cleveland. But you already know, if he comes out and he cooks us tomorrow, you know what we're gonna hear.
He had that crossover on Oladipo, and they slowed it down. I was like, oh, Lord, I know we're going to hear this. But and I agree with you. I think Dotson was done dirty. I'm not sure if it would have been smart to keep him now, given his age. Was he 27?
26, about to be 20. Yeah, somewhere around there.
And he deserved to go to a team where he's going to get some looks. I always like Dotson, but I'm not one of these guys, we should have kept him. It's like, hey, time to move on. Different scenario. Yeah. Maybe they have a chance. So fair enough to him, man. Salute to Damian Dotson. Always had a good attitude, man. Even when he was leaving, he said, Dot out. Thank you, Knicks, everything. So that's how you be professional, Mitchell Robinson,
Yep.
Mr. I got to host all my on freaking, by the way, last game, Mitchell Robinson had 3 opportunities to shoot that 3.
Yes, he did.
Once.
Didn't even look at the rim.
And this is what Tom Thibodeau's talking about with professionalism, knowing what your weaknesses are in regards to what's the most effective on the court. Now, that's footwork. That's not drawing fouls. You should have been working on that in the summer. Not say you did it, but don't be showcasing all these threes. And then when you get the opportunity to do what you've been so-called working on, you don't do it.
You don't do it.
2 of them, you were dumb open. Like, literally, your guy sagged off for you a little bit, and you could have just, okay.
Yep. I was like, shoot it. I'm screaming out, shoot it. And he just looked for whoever he had to hand the ball up to.
Yeah, one way he could have drove too. I'm gonna say on his left. In the first half, he could have drove and he did it. So, hey, Mitch, I'm rooting for you, bro, but professionalism. You got to understand what your weaknesses are, man. Stop playing games.
Yeah.
You should every guys, man. Please watch the RJ Barrett video that I put up, man, and I'll be here tomorrow to cover the Knicks game. Please, you guys are obviously there, but anybody who's always subscribed to me, go subscribe to MBK. MBKfam.com is up. If you want to see us destroy the guys like Mark Berman and all these so-called Nick writers who come with these garbage rumors about the Knicks and doing Knicks for clicks, man, goes to MBKfam.com. Support our channels, man. Support the content creators. Man. Ron Cleveland was up in here, man. Salute to him. Char Burrow's up in here. That Ain't Rock podcast. And I'll probably be on Blarn's Tears tonight. And I've always said, dogs, I need to take one night off just to get proper sleep. That hasn't worked out.
Right.
I'll be mostly on Blarn's Tears to kill Chuck B. I wouldn't do it tonight, but I got some work to do. But Chuck B, Chuck B, tomorrow on the Knicks, on the watch along for the Cavaliers game, man. If you want to come on, I'll help destroy DSJ even some more, because I said to Chuck B, I said DSJ is such a good ISO athletic guy. Why didn't he flourish under Fizdale, who ran a lot of ISO for guys, right? Why is he always calling over picks and help from Mitch Robinson and Obi? He had no answer. So suit to Chuck B, but I killed Freezy on the Devin Vassell versus Aaron Naismith. Go check that out. I was on Freezy's channel. I'm gonna kill Chuck B. I don't like killing my subscribers. It's not cool, man. But suit to all you guys, man, and we'll catch you here on Thursday, man. If you can't catch me here for the game, so suit you guys. Peace. God bless. We out, man.
Peace.